talking or making noises. So how do I sound now? I'm still good.
The sound level sounds fine to me.
Good. Right. So are you ready to dive headfirst into the pool of murk that is the internet?
More or less. That's why I'm here, isn't it?
True that.
I've
And
already got one thumbs up.
we already got one thumbs up, and we gone live right now. So anyway, we are live. I'm joined today by Ludacris because I really didn't want to do this one alone. I know the last two I did myself, and they were fun. But every once and again, I want someone there with me to bounce off ideas and yeah, stuff like that. And today, I want to talk to you good people about the brilliance that is the Biden administration. Because so many things have gone up under Biden. And let's be honest, there's hardly any attention for all of the things that went up under Biden. So, thank you, Richard, for your confirmation. Well appreciated. Anyway,
I say hello to everyone. Jumping in here. I'm here tonight as Mod Wayne's emotional support leprechaun.
okay, I have to check the settings a little bit because I have the feeling I might be very loud and you might be very loud. So this should be better
I think
now.
I'm turning it down then.
That's all right. That's all right. It's always trying to figure out what the settings are and how to best set them. Not that it matters, as no one watches the stream anyway. But Lep is echoing. Okay. Can you say something?
How much echo is there?
I don't know. I don't hear it.
Well, normally we give it a few minutes before the stream gets any traction and people come in because notification has to be sent out far and wide.
Well, I mean, how much of an echo is there, Michael? Because OBS isn't showing me anything. So according to OBS, everything is fine. But yeah, if it's not, then it would be nice to know.
Yes, we need to fix it to be sure.
But how many people of you are, how do you call this, happy with the Biden administration? We don't have a lot of Americans here, do we? I don't think so. Had a slight cathedral effect with Ludacris, but now it's gone. Okay. Well, then I have no clue, but it's fixed, so that's good. Isn't it?
I had none on my end, so I don't know.
3/4 of a half deck. 3/4 of a half deck. Not quite sure if I know what you mean with that one. All three of us, maybe that's the one. Well, whatever. So today I wanted to talk to you about all the great things that Joe has done for the American. And it's rather unfair because it's not so much talking about the great things he's done, it's more to say, well, look, these things are up. But most people don't realize what that means.
We have to celebrate Joe Baizu.
We have to celebrate Joe Baizu. I think I know what's the issue now. Let's see if I can do something about that. Because it seems as if there are two. So why can't I remove you? Why can't I remove you? Okay, let's see. See, I always like OBS because OBS is such a great program. How the hell do I turn this one off? Because it seems that I have two desktop audios and I only need the one. Let me put it like that, see if that'll work. Can you try to say something again, Ludacris?
Well, I'll try, but I'm not sure how successful I'll be.
Yeah, well, the talking bit is going great, but bloody hell, I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do. Because I have one active and another active. So why do I have two desktop audio actives? That's weird. Lab sounds like he's sending both mic and... Well, no, it's not that he sends it twice. The problem is that OBS is broadcasting it twice. I mean, it's only coming once to me, but somehow OBS has decided to say, you know what? I can broadcast it twice. Which is what's happening, and I can't seem to be able to turn it off. Okay, so if I just do it like that, will that then do the trick? Can you say something, my friend?
Yes. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, I mean, how happy we are with Joe Biden. And Michael, honestly, Alt F4, what is this? A very early online game. I'll remember we using that joke in first-person shooters and whatnot. Oh, how does the cheat work? Well, you press Alt F4 and you just wait for people to drop out, which they actually did. So it actually worked. But yeah, it's down to an empty room echo. So yeah, I'm trying to do something. But
I did hear. I heard about another situation where a radio host phoned up this woman claiming to be tech support, and then convinced her to wipe the hard drive of her computer.
It's amazing that people fall for that. Do you think so?
Yeah. Format drive C.
Okay, let me see. Anything going on still? Now I can't hear myself. That's good. There we are. And now I have desktop 1 and desktop 2. Both visible and both on double. And I can hide them, but I cannot remove them.
No, we've got 6 people watching now.
Yeah, well... Yes, Michael, Alt F4 works, but it merely closes down the shit. Which is not what I want. I want it to work. Bloody stupid. Wait a second, if I do this... Okay, can you say something again, Ludicrous? Yes, you can. I know you can, but let's see how it works this time. Yeah, it seemed that didn't work that good. Can you try again?
Modwin says, MK sent a message saying, Modwin, this sounds good.
Okay, so it sounds good now? Well, I hope it's so.
There's almost a little bit of delay between chat and his reactions. So
the problem is I can hide stuff, but I can't remove it. It's quite annoying. But okay, let's pretend that this is good. So, bloody hell. Are we ready to start this one? Yeah.
I may as well go ahead.
Well, let's okay, I'm going to start with the Guardian one. I sent you the link over Discord.
Yeah, pulled it up. Every executive action and its consequences.
Is it good now then, Michael? I hope it is. Anyway, I'm going to start talking about the Guardian one and every executive action Joe Biden has signed and what they do, because the president has signed a number of executive orders. Yeah, okay, let's have some fun, because the first one, it's a few, were the COVID response ones. So to establish response coordinators, this group isn't just... let me see. I got a message over Discord that everything is working as intended. Yes. Okay, let me see. Audio is good now. Don't do anything with it. Almost 1 minute delay between what we hear on the stream and the chat inputs. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know the delay was that big today. But yeah, I can't know everything, let's be honest. Yeah, thank you for your information, Michael. Much appreciated. Anyway, establish response coordinators. This group isn't just responsible for ensuring proper distribution of personal protective equipment, tests, and vaccines. They are also charged with ensuring the federal government reduces racial disparities. And here I am thinking that this was already done under Trump. Didn't Trump already have all sorts of things done to make sure that all the equipment and the vaccines, once they were there, were distributed?
Well, I also thought that the racial disparities were reduced decades ago under the legislation to say you weren't allowed to discriminate on people based on grounds of race.
Well, that is true. The funny thing is, though, it is true that in the Western world, black people suffer more from COVID and are more likely to suffer from COVID than non-black people. Did I ever tell why that was?
There's a couple of concepts that are flying around. Some of them is genetic, some of them is because they're at a higher level of health risks in the society.
Actually, none of those. Well, one of them is partly true, but no. The biggest problem is they lack vitamin D because they have dark skin in an area where there isn't a lot of sun power, solar power, whatever you call it. And if you have a dark skin in an area where your skin is basically stopping the sun to interact with it, your body makes less vitamin D from sunlight. And vitamin D is one of the most important things your body needs to have a strong and healthy immune system.
It'll obviously drop it down.
Sorry?
It will obviously decrease the immune system.
Yeah, if you don't have enough vitamin D, it's hurting your immune system. Which is why certain groups are more likely to get sick from this whole thing than other groups. But then again, I don't think you can tell Americans that you can't blame a virus for being racist. I don't think that's how it works.
Well, pretty soon they're going to have to bring that virus before the Court of Human Rights to apologize for its racist behaviors.
Nah, they won't. It's Chinese. The Chinese can do whatever they want.
True.
So there is that. But yeah, no, I mean, they established a task force within the Department of Health. And I'm like, didn't this already happen under Trump?
I thought it already existed before Trump, since the start of the health CDC.
And
obviously not monitoring COVID, but yeah.
Yeah. And I like it because when Trump basically limited access to, for example, the United States, Europeans weren't allowed to go into the United States during the COVID crisis because COVID. And Trump was considered a xenophobe. And what did Biden do? Well, he limit or suspend entry into the US from people from Brazil, South Africa, and parts of Europe because of the high COVID rates. So this isn't new either. This is something Trump had already done, and they blamed Trump for it because it was so xenophobic. But it's something they are celebrating Biden for.
Well, it's okay when they do it.
It seems that that's the case, yeah. Let's go to the COVID relief and support thingies. Help local communities house people who are homeless. I have the feeling...
Charities were doing that, weren't they?
Sorry?
Charities were doing that, weren't they?
Well, I mean, I think they've been doing this for what? 20 years? Well, failing at it, obviously, but wasn't this new? I mean, now they do it because of COVID, but before COVID, they were also talking about how they were helping people. from the rain to the drip.
Yeah, there was a charity called Habitat for Humanity. It's been doing it for decades.
Yeah. Well, they're not really doing a great job, let's be honest. You can't have it all, I guess. Even if it did exist under the Trump administration, the execution was carried out improperly because Trump was in charge. I know, Richard, that's true. I'm sorry, you're so correct. I mean, if Trump did it, it must have obviously been bad. But now that Biden is doing basically the same thing, well, that's way better, isn't it? And the worst part is there are people who actually believe that crap. It's it is somewhat what's the word? Harrowing?
Well, some disturbing.
Disturbing. Yeah, maybe that's a better word. Maybe that's a better word. I can't understand this. But, I mean, support studies and assist local areas experiencing a surge of cases. But haven't we been doing that for more than a year now? Supporting the studies in the surges of cases. So much so that every time anything was put out there to say, well, this could actually diminish the surge, it had to be pushed aside because no, we have to focus on the surge. Creating a COVID testing board. Oh, that's not new. Expand supports to states. Well, they're already expanding. I'm sorry. Never mind. We're moving on to point 3. And yes,
Okay.
indeed, Michael Keller, this is indeed very Kafkaesque. Require mask on all federal lands and buildings. It's the third point in point 3. And I have to say, I love this one because the very day that he made this rule, he ignored this rule.
They should be impeached for that.
Yeah, he should. Well, I don't know. I don't care for impeachment much, let's be honest. But it is weird because he made this rule. He and his wife didn't upheld this rule. So, I don't get it.
No, it's one they continually break. The press secretary, Psaki, is always up in front of everyone not wearing a mask.
Which is also on federal land, federal building.
Yeah. Indoors.
Indoors even. Not that a mask does much.
More than 5.
Yep. I still don't think a mask does anything, but at least they admit that it doesn't do anything because they don't seem to be caring about it either. Which, I mean, the only reason why you wouldn't care about wearing a mask is because you realize it does fuck all. Did Trump ever say that black or Hispanic people weren't technologically capable enough to access the internet in order to sign up for a vaccine? Well, no, obviously Trump didn't, because Trump is such a racist that he didn't realize that this was the case. It's the same that people kept telling us that it's absolutely racist to go for how do you call it? Identifying yourself whilst voting, because black people obviously can't get an how do you call it? Identification papers.
Yeah, voter ID.
Voter ID. Yeah, that's absolute racist because you can't believe how racist they are.
Yes, it's not like every other country in Europe does that. Whenever people are voting, they require some kind of ID so you can prove who you say you are before you vote.
This is even true in India, which is by far the largest democracy in the world. And there it is rather common that you identify yourself. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's possible to do there, but not in the United States. The only reason I can think of that is because they don't want you to. Because they don't want you to be able to know what you voted for and be accountable. Because once you're accountable, well, then the dead people can't vote anymore. And they kind of want to have the dead people voting. And indeed, how does someone cash a check without some form of identification? It's and Biden sets stronger worker standards. Biden instructed the Occupational Safety and Health Administration to revise COVID safety recommendations. Now, this has something to do with people being unemployed and having to look for jobs and whatnot. And if someone would say, well, I don't want to do that job because it's dangerous, I might get COVID there, this is basically to say, yeah, we're going to check if that's true. And if it's not, you're no longer getting unemployment benefits because fuck you bastard, you need to go to work. Personally, I agree with the fuck you bastard, you need to go to work bit. I mean, I'm completely in for that. But the idea that they've been pushing the narrative that we have to be scared of COVID. Oh, COVID's so bad. And now they're basically saying, well, yeah, you know what? We say COVID is bad, but you still have to go to work. Hi there, Nick, by the way.
Hi, Nick.
And yes, mail-in voting would have been very hard if you would indeed go with the voter ID thing. It's kind of funny because now they're talking in the Netherlands that there are certain parties in the Netherlands that want to do mail-in voting. Why do I find that so interesting? Because in the Netherlands we have basically DigiD, which is your digital identity online with the Dutch government. So I can log in DigiD, and because I am Dutch, my identity papers and everything are linked to that account. If I lose a password, I will have to destroy the account and start a new one. And then they will send you a letter. And anyway, long story short, we already have a digital footprint in the Netherlands. And if they don't want us to go to polling booths to vote, we can do it online. But they don't want us to vote with our DigiD because then we would be accountable. No, they want us to go for mail-in votes because then, well, they can do with your vote whatever they want and there is no way to check what's going on. Kind of what happened in America. Hi there, Green Badger, by the way.
Are they bringing in the Dominion machines yet?
The what?
The Dominion machines.
Not in the Netherlands, not yet, not that I know of.
I remember they brought in electronic voting in Ireland about 15 years ago or so, and they immediately ditched it because it was so unreliable. And
right. Well, should make you wonder, shouldn't it?
Yes.
But, yeah. Sorry. Not COVID, by the way, but I still need to cough. I so dislike OBS, by the way. It's making some noises that I don't like. But if we look at immigration, it's been there already. Because Mr. Biden wants to reunite families separated at the US-Mexican border. Biden establishes a task force to reunify the hundreds of families who were separated at the border. Mind you, the separating started under Obama and Biden. Now, Trump got to blame for it, but it's good to see that the Obama regime is now going to try and fix it.
No, I don't mind this one so much as long as they reunite the families back into Mexico.
Well, that would make more sense.
If they reunite the families back in Mexico, you know, that'll solve quite a few arguments.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because Biden ordered agency to identify the underlying causes of the surge in migration from Central America. Yeah, because people have been told to come. Hi there, Paolo, by the way. Put the whole family in the cage. I'm not a fan of caging people, Richard, but can't say I understand. I don't understand what you're saying. But here's the funny one. I mean, review the rules that might make it hard for people to access the legal immigration process. Those rules weren't there. The whole idea under Trump was to streamline the process. So for the ones that came legally, it would be easier to get into the process. For the ones that came illegally, yeah, I'm sorry, mate, you came illegally. Fuck you. Which makes sense. I mean, doing something illegal means that you don't care about the rules of the land. So obviously, why should the land then care about you? But here's the fun one. The reverse of Trump's attempt to defund sanctuary cities. Now, the sanctuary cities are an interesting conundrum in modern politics because they are both political and they don't want to be political. So the political part is obviously that they don't care about the rules, but then they also care about the rules because they want the money, and the rules say that they can get money. The money only comes as long as they obey the rules. It's a nice, how do you call it? It's a nice circular logic thing.
But if you read it further on, that you'll find that executive order that Trump signed to limit the federal standards, the federal grants, was deemed unconstitutional, and so that executive order was thrown out.
Yeah, but he still reversed it, so it makes you wonder what he then did.
Yeah, why reverse something that was already thrown out?
Yeah. But he did end the construction of the border wall, which I find really funny because under Obama, he, together with the then President Obama, signed off on building the border wall. They never got to it. The money they allocated for it is gone. But in the past, they were in favor of building a border wall. But now they basically say, no, well, we're going to not build a border wall.
They have to get their slave labor from somewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty true, though. I mean, I can remember that back in the day, it was, I think it was Bernie Sanders who was very outspoken on why we should have a safe country in the USA because of, unregistered people coming to work for less money, which was a detriment to the poor people of America because those jobs now didn't go to them. But according to Biden, there's no problem with that. Fuck it, who cares about the poor Americans? Let them eat cake. I hope people still get that reference, by the way.
Yes. Misattributed quote Marie Antoinette.
Yes. Reaffirmation protection for people brought to the US as children without documents. So basically, he's going to have protections to children that have been trafficked into the US. This, to me, screams child slave trade. Am I the only one?
DACA. Nambla for DACA?
Pretty much. I mean, well, you know what? You've been brought into America by coyotes. You've been sold into servitude, and you can never go back home because we protected you and your rights as an American citizen, but we don't care much about you, so we'll leave you at whomever it is that bought you. And the worst part is, I can remember that last year they found basically camps where children were being exploited in the United States. It's amazing.
It's frustrating to have to go through this, isn't it?
It is. And the worst part is, this article from The Guardian is basically saying, look, these are the good things Biden has done. And basically what I'm reading, reaffirm protections for people brought to the US as children without documents. Not children that came to the US, no, they were brought. So even in the description, we're not talking about people coming to the United States, no, they've been trafficked.
Kidnapped, maybe in some cases.
But am I wrong as seeing that?
No, I wouldn't say wrong. I'd say that proof is on the people bringing the kids across the border.
Well, why would you want to allow people bringing children across the border? I mean, isn't that child trafficking?
Well, saying that Ghislaine Maxwell needs new stocks.
Well, yeah.
And Richard said Biden needs a steady supply of children to sniff.
That might very well be true. And an end to travels banned from Trump. Didn't I read a moment ago how Biden stopped people from Europe, South Africa and Brazil to get into America? Wasn't that part of the travel ban?
Yes. But ironically enough, the initial travel ban that Trump had put in was only for 90 days. At the start of his presidency, he put a 90-day ban in for several countries from a list that Barack Obama had set up that said these are high terrorist activity countries, and that was a 90-day ban.
True.
So that's already finished. The other ban that he did was from China.
Well, yeah, because of the COVID thing. China, Europe, the Middle East, places where COVID was big now. Places that Biden himself also recognized, but he basically said, well, yeah, South Africa, because mostly white people that can travel there, and Brazil, because Brazil, I don't know, and several countries within Europe. Not China, obviously. Chinese are welcome to come into Biden's America. But, yeah. So he instated a travel ban and ended a travel ban. And he ended Trump's travel ban on 20th of January. And when did he instate the travel ban? Let's go back. Oh, yes. Sorry, guys. I'm not good at this. Oh, yes. Limited or suspend entry to the US on 25th of January. And suspended the Trump travel ban on the 20th of January. So basically on the 20th he says everyone can come in, and on the 25th he says, yeah, but not you.
That's not schizophrenic at all.
No, isn't it? That's just downright good politicking. Let's because Biden is such a great president. Many Germans from World War II fled to Brazil and Argentina after the war. True, but they also fled to America. How do I know this? Well, America was proudly proclaiming how they extradited a German soldier, I guess, from the Second World War at the age of 95, so that he can be charged in Germany for being part of, I think he was a camp guard or something like that.
Dachau, was it? Or was it Dachau?
I can't remember. I'm like, the dude is 95. Seriously, this is big news?
Well, I mean, if people want to punch a Nazi, they better hurry up because, he doesn't have long left.
True. And let's be honest, I mean, he's been living in the United States since the end of the Second World War. I mean, I read or I heard he came to America in the 50s. So he's been there for 70 years.
There's plenty of time to punch him.
Have I considered Orange Man bad? Well, yeah, Orange Man very bad unless they have a reason to do the very same thing Orange Man did. Maybe that's why the travel ban first got scrapped and then 5 days later got reinstated. Because Orange Man bad, therefore get rid of it. and then, yeah, but this actually made sense, so let's get it back. Could that be it? But if that's it, was Orange Man truly bad? Come on, Ludicrous, help me out here. Make sense of this nonsense. Come on, you can do it. You have mythical powers. I know you can do it, because I can't for the life of me understand how this makes any sense.
Well, I never said it made sense. So there's that point.
True. True. And obviously, America rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, because everyone knows how very useful that has been. Kind of funny though, because under Trump, the how do you call it, the CO2 expel pollution thingy actually went down. It's kind of funny because America became energy independent under Trump, and yet the CO2 production in the United States went down. And now they rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement. So, why?
It's obviously one of the Green New Deal thingies that you're always frustrated with.
Yeah.
If you go against the Paris Accord, then you're obviously a backward, retarded country. But if you join the Paris Climate Accord, you're on the right side of history, and you'll get pats in the back as they take away your facilities.
I mean, they reversed an area of Trump's policy. This includes the Trump administration's effort to weaken car emission standards, energy efficiency standards, and rules that help the industry at the expense of the environment. Thing is, however, those rules did none of those things, because what those rules did was give reason for car companies to
lie.
Yeah. Which, kind of funny, they did, until Trump said, okay, you know what, we're going to crack down on the lying part, but at least be honest about what you're doing. And all of a sudden we had news that Volkswagen was lying about their numbers, and Chevrolet was lying about their numbers, and now we're going to go back to emission standards that no one really upheld anyway, but now they're going to go back to lying, I assume.
Well, you know, if it works, it works. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, civil rights, people, because this is the real thing.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they reversed an order that restricted diversity and inclusion training for federal agencies. Because under Trump, the forced woke agenda wasn't allowed within federal agencies, but under Biden, it is allowed. How good is that? White people can be told that they are racist again, and be trained to recognize their racism.
And this is going to do nothing but increase the racist rhetoric.
And this is another one. Reaffirm that LGBTQ plus people are protected from sex discrimination. Notably, Biden called on all federal agencies to enforce a US Supreme Court decision from last year that expanded the definition of sex discrimination to include discrimination based on sexual orientation as well as gender identity, with languages that explicitly referred the arena of high school and college sports. So now,
I thought they said sex. I thought they were saying that sex didn't exist.
Well, officially you're not allowed to discriminate on sex.
Yes, but the LGBTQ people are all saying that sex doesn't exist.
Well, and that's the thing. Because what this does, or what this will do, I'm pretty sure of it, is that if Jack on a Saturday night feels that he can't compete well enough in boys' sports, so he decides, you know what, I'm going to be a girl from now on, he can compete in girls' sports. And no one is to stop Jack from running against other girls. which basically seems like discrimination against girls because there's no way they're going to beat Jack. So
Yeah. I did hear this recent quote about what do you call the athlete, the Olympic athlete who changed sex, the famous one. It's hardly
well,
probably come.
the one from the Kardashians, the guy that
Um,
became a woman and then hit someone with their car. I forgot his name.
someone in the chat will say the name. But the basically the quote was, not only did he beat all the girls in running, he beat all the guys too. So he's the best woman ever.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember who it is. It's. I can't remember. Bruce something.
Bruce
What is
Jenner. Bruce
Jenner?
Jenner.
That's the one. I forgot the female
Caitlyn Jenner.
name. Caitlyn.
Caitlyn.
Thank you. Because I wouldn't want to dead name him. It's another silly term though. Dead name. Dead name. Dead name. He's not dead. Yeah, but he's not using that name anymore. Yeah, fair enough. He's still not dead. Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner. Yes, that's the one. So yeah, he was a fast, but he never won anything as a woman, did he? He never competed as a woman.
No, but he's the best woman because he beat all the men.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. So the best woman is a man.
Yes.
I can remember that. This is a few years ago that I think it's Vogue or one of those female magazines that have a yearly
Woman of the Year.
Yeah, Woman of the Year thing, and it was Bono. I'm like, he's not even pretending.
That I can understand.
Yeah, well, I can understand it too, but he's not pretending to be a woman. He's just a sissy.
Yes.
So basically, what they're saying is women are sissies.
Yes, but he also wrote that binary exclusive song called One.
Right. Yes, that is true. They don't care though. Now, reverse other banning of transgender people from the military, and I mean, it's not as if transgender people have a higher chance of committing suicide. So you'd wonder whether that's not a good reason to say, you know what, Section 5 them. I don't know if they have Section 5 in America, by the way. In the Netherlands, we have Section 5, which means that you're psychologically unstable and therefore unfit for armed duty.
But Trump's ban on transgender people serving was only for those who were pre-operative, and that means that they were trying to get their expensive operations and continuous operations paid for through the military.
Yeah, that was true. I remember that.
But
how dare he?
But it wasn't an exclusive ban on transgender people. It was just those ones. I mean, I could understand a ban on transgender people given their suicidality, but then again, they may make the best suicide bombers. But
I like this one though. Condemn xenophobia against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in their COVID-19 response, because Trump referred to the coronavirus as the China virus because the virus originated in China. And oh no, this is so bad, you can't have this. It's all right though, because you can have the British variant and the South African variant and the Brazilian variant, but it can't be the Chinese virus because that is... there's no double standard in this at all, is there?
But what I'm just wondering is, this is an executive order, and it's condemning xenophobia, but what exactly is it ordering?
That you can't say Chinese virus, I guess.
No, it doesn't say that. It says it's condemning.
True.
It does say it's condemning.
So maybe it's not
that term. But it's not ordering someone to do anything.
No, it's more like something. Oh, look at that! I said racism is bad. I'm a good boy now. Can I get cookie?
So I'm just wondering if that's misuse of an executive order.
The medical requirements post-surgery was another bar to the transgenders in the military as well. Not Wayne. Thank you, Richard. I think this is also what Ludacris said. I didn't know it, so thank God Ludacris is here with me to make some sense of me. All solar panels will be very effective during the European winters. Yes, Paolo, as are the wind farms. We've seen how well wind farms work in extreme conditions. Texas is so glad that they have 20% of their energy production from wind farms. I guess they're not so happy about that. What would be the long-term costs of the required hormone treatments? Richard, one of the long-term costs could be cancer. It has been proven that hormone treatment can cause cancer. Bone cancer, actually, so this is the worst part. I thought milk was white supremacy, and I said cookies. I didn't say cookies with milk. But then again, I guess that's inferred, isn't it? What do you think, Ludacris?
Well, I've given up trying to keep an eye on what's racist or not, because basically it doesn't matter anyway. They're just going to call us it and condemn us anyway.
Yeah, true that. True that. The virus looks like a Dragon Ball character, the way it powers up when it mutates. Thank you, Paolo. That was bloody brilliant. Oh, that should be a meme.
No, it's more like a Megazord combining.
Well, I mean, imagine you have a new coronavirus and its infectability is over 9,000. I'm going to see if I can make that one. Sorry. Everything is white supremacy. Well, that is true. That is true. End the use of private prisons for federal inmates. Biden orders the Attorney General not to renew contracts with privately operated prisons which are often accused of profiting from a racist criminal justice system. The system, by the way, Biden helped build. So,
and the laws he helped to put into action as well to get those people arrested.
So I'm really curious how that one will go. If indeed it will work, that prisons for profit will be gone, I'm curious how that will affect the American landscape. I don't think that's inherently a good or a bad thing. I would say it's a long overdue thing, and I think Trump already started a little bit when he started with the prison reform thingies. So, yeah. Restore federal support for reproductive health programs.
In other words, kill babies.
Yeah. It's not a reproductive health program. It's kill babies. Well, I can agree with that prison order of Biden. Yeah, me too, Michael. Me too. Reverse anti-fair housing policies repealed by Trump. So, anti-fair housing.
Yeah, this looks a bit convoluted.
So the Obama administration ramped up the enforcement of the 1968 Fair Housing Act, a law that prevents discrimination housing practices. Fair enough, we don't want that. Among other things, the law says the federal government has a duty to affirmatively further fair housing. But wait a second. Wasn't it to prevent discriminatory housing practices? So how can it be against discriminatory housing practices whilst at the same time have to affirmatively further fair housing? Because isn't that inherently discriminatory?
Well, pretty much, whenever the government steps in to push the scales in a direction that it's discrimination.
Because, I mean, if I'm saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to affirmatively help X group to get something, isn't that then not inherently discriminatory towards people who are not of X group? Because they're not getting the help to get whatever.
Despite whether they need it more or not.
Yeah, that's... Personally, I think when it comes to housing, government should be well clear of it. Trump signed an executive order on his last day removing aluminum tariffs on imports from the United Emirates. And Biden's reversal is seen as a move to protect domestic producers, reinstating the aluminum tariffs. But isn't this economical warfare? Isn't this why Trump said, okay, you know what, I'm going to cut these tariffs? Because weren't the Democrats so against Trump using tariffs, for example, against several countries, amongst which are China, to stop them exploiting the American market?
Well, it just goes to show that Dems hate Trump so much that they just want to reverse every single little thing that he did, and kind of scream Orange Man bad and try to erase him from history.
And postpone regulations. Biden is directing federal agencies to postpone sending any regulations to the Federal Register until someone he appoints can review the regulation. That doesn't make sense. I mean, isn't this something that just should continue?
Well, see, the problem is he's got a problem there, because he's directing federal agencies to postpone sending regulations to the Federal Registers. He's just sent the federal regulation to the Register, but it's going to be delayed because he just put in the act to delay it. Or does that not?
Yeah. I'm going to go to the last one, though, because most of these things I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Reaffirm that policies should be informed by science. Biden is pledging to not let policy reference skew scientific findings, like wearing several masks, because that's all of a sudden good, according to Fauci, even though there has never been any scientific, peer-reviewed, published thingy talking about how masks can prevent viruses from infecting people.
I do have a problem with that, because what if the policies have got nothing to do with science?
Well, yeah, that too. Well, I mean,
technically, the abortion debate has nothing to do with science.
true.
Because science is saying that we can facilitate the abortion of children. So that's the scientific side out of it. So why should the policy be informed by science? It should not be informed by philosophy, debate, morality.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the same thing that white people have to be racist because science. Didn't you have to decolonize your mind and recognize that mathematics is racism as well?
Oh, I understand that, but I'm just saying that science is one sphere and it doesn't interact with every single other sphere in existence. And so I don't see why policy should ask science or debate science or introduce science to areas where there's no basis being.
Well, I mean, isn't science? I mean, now you're a scientist, right?
Yes, I'm speaking as a scientist.
You are a scientist, but you are an old school scientist. You are not the kind of scientist they are talking about. They are talking about the scientists that say what they want them to say. And you can't argue with those scientists because they are correct. This is why, what's his face, the guy from Microsoft, Bill Gates, he's a medical scientist and he can tell you all you want to know about the virus, but you can't listen to a doctor talking about it because they're not scientists. They're merely medical doctors. Okay, I know it doesn't make any sense, but I think this is what they're going for. So if you can prove their scientist wrong, well, that inherently means that you're wrong, right?
Well, science is a consensus these days, isn't it?
Yeah. Which is weird because I've always heard that science is not a consensus, and if only one scientist can prove something right, eventually the rest of science will move along with them when they can prove that they either are wrong or right. But proving something wrong or right is, well, it's racist, obviously.
Oh, I know. As I've heard you say many times, Maud Wayne, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Well, and this is the funniest thingy. I'm going to leave a few out of the original thingy, the original text from The Guardian, but I'm going to end with this one on The Guardian. Count undocumented immigrants in apportionment. So they're going to count undocumented immigrants as part of how many seats each state should get in Congress. So a state with a lot of illegals should have more political power than a state that doesn't have a lot of illegals. So yeah, a state like California.
Yeah, Texas would be another one. Yeah, it's called gerrymandering, as I believe.
But how strange is that? Oh well, yeah. I mean, those people have broken the rules and they're breaking the laws, and you're breaking the laws by housing them. But let's thank you for it and reward you for it. Now, if anyone can try to explain to me how this makes sense, I definitely look forward to it. But to me, this is stupid. No?
I noticed. Well, I noticed this story's got no comments attached to it. The Guardian tend to stop putting comments in their articles, I suppose, but might have been interesting to read.
There are comments?
No, there aren't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I've got more. But this was pretty nice because all these things that I just mentioned are basically, according to The Guardian, positive things. And I'm like, how can you see them as positive? But this is also interesting. This is from Rig Zone, Oil and Gas. How will Biden's energy policies affect oil prices? US President Joe Biden's new energy policies will have a moderate impact on Brent prices overall. Okay. For the next 2 years, the economic recovery from the COVID-19 and the pace of it globally, coupled with the pace of global production with growth, will play a driving role in the price formations. President Biden's policy could slow down the pace of resilience that the United States onshore producers have when reaching the higher prices, which would slow down a surge in supply that could temper price increase. This is a nice way of saying the prices are going up.
And jobs are going out the window.
And well, yeah, I mean, if your energy economy is fucked up, that's going to cause all of your economy to go down.
And this increase is just about the crude. It's not even, I think, about the follow-on for treated fuels further on down the line.
But this is also an interesting one. When asked how Biden's new energy policies would affect oil prices, Jamie Webster, a senior director at Boston Consulting Group Center for Energy Impact, noted that this was difficult to assess. The Biden administration is about 1% into his 4-year term, so it's difficult to assess given additional policies will be put in place in the coming days, weeks and months, some of which will work to reduce demand for petroleum products. As in,
No, no,
we
it's
don't
Green
want
New
to...
Deal.
Sorry?
The Green New Deal.
Yeah, we're not going to use fossil fuels anymore. But the funny part is, and I'm going to close this one now because thank you very much. Here we go. Gas prices have already spiked under Biden. After 4 years of stable gas prices under Donald J. Trump, Americans may have to get used to some pain at the pump. Former Vice President Joe Biden hasn't even been in the White House for a month, and the gas prices are already a whopping 80% higher, with at least one analysis predicting that they will hit $4 per gallon in the near future. Biden's ideologically driven decision to cancel the Keystone XL pipeline and the expectation that his Green New Deal policy will place onerous regulatory burdens on domestic energy producers in the fossil fuel industry is already hitting Americans in their pocketbook. The dude has been a president for, let's say, a month, and the price has almost risen a fifth.
What was it before?
Oh, I can't remember that. I'm sorry. It depended on where you were, because I remember that in California it was a lot more expensive than it was in Kansas, for example.
Yeah, just looking at the comments in that one you just posted. Up about 20 cents a gallon a month here. It's gone from $2.19 to $2.50 in Florida. Yeah, so if it goes up, if it's yeah, they're talking about going up to $5 per gallon by the fall of 2021.
Gas has gone up close to $50 cents a gallon. It will go much higher.
So it's currently $2.20.
No, it was $2.20 and it's now $2.50.
Well, Richard Beer just saying it's about $2.20 a gallon, so they're going to bring it up to $4 this year, maybe even $5. So,
well, Richard, it's now $2.20. What was it a month ago? 2 months ago? Could you answer me that? Because I am curious. Yeah, gas prices on the coast are very different from the Midwest. Yeah, that too, because all states have their own
prices
price.
And taxes.
Yeah. Well, some of it is basic. I mean, it's what the government says, but you have federal government and state government influencing the prices. So yeah, there is that.
And there's also the fact that if you're bringing in a tanker to a coastal place, it doesn't take that much to transport it to the coast, but transport it inland.
Yeah, but then that doesn't make sense why it's California that is so fucking expensive and landlocked states are cheaper.
That's mostly to do with the taxes.
True.
Quite the vast majority of the money that you pay for fuel in UK is taxes.
Well, for Richard Bye, the price didn't go up that much. It went up at about 5%, 10%, 5%. Yeah, 5%. So yeah, it's not that bad there. Fair enough. But on average, prices have gone up. When can unemployed workers refuse a job offer? Well, this is something we mentioned earlier. Because of COVID, people were allowed to say, okay, you know what? I don't want to take that job because that job puts me at a higher risk of getting COVID. State law allows workers to refuse work if conditions are unsafe. But their rules vary. The Trump administration didn't set a federal standard. So President Joe Biden issued an executive order Friday to clarify when workers can refuse a job offer yet continue receiving unemployment benefits, or indeed when they cannot refuse a job offer. And if they cannot refuse a job offer and they do so anyway, they will lose their benefits. In California, sorry, go on, mate.
I mean, I think that if someone's refusing job offers and they're clearly accepting unemployment aid and they're saying that that's prevalent on them being available for work, if they refuse job offers, there's only so much tolerance that can be in the system for that.
I totally agree. I'm seriously totally agreeing with you. Were it not for the fact that at one point they tell you you have to be deadly scared because of COVID, but not when we want you to work. But when you want to work, you're not allowed to because COVID. So there is something inherently contradictory in that. Or at least this is how I perceive it.
Yeah, I think that the government's done a too effective a job in scaring people with COVID to the point where some people are afraid to leave the house. But
True.
we all have to go out someday and we all have to face this head on and basically get off your arse, go to work.
I agree with the get off your ass and go to work. The thing is, how many Americans want to go to work and aren't allowed to? So there's something double in that. You have a company and you want to work, but you're not allowed to. And then there are people who have unemployment benefits and they don't want to because they've been told to be really, really afraid, but they have to. It's a double standard that I have a problem. Well, I have a lot of problems with the double standards. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, lockdown doesn't work and it should be rescinded and everyone should be put back in right now.
True that. I like it. For example, in the Netherlands, we're now going. We've not only got a lockdown, we also have a curfew, and there has been a judge basically said, well, that curfew is unjust. It goes against the laws. So the government basically went into, how do you call it? When you want to go against a ruling of the judge. I can't remember the word now. I'm sorry.
Dictatorship.
No, well, yeah, that too. but no, you can appeal a court's decision. Appeal, that's the word I was looking for. So they immediately went to appeal, which normally would take several weeks, but because it's the government, the appeal was set for the same week. And because there's an appeal, the laws are still the way they are, even though there has been a judge saying that these laws are unjust. So normally, if the court says something isn't allowed, you can appeal it, but until the appeal has been done, well, the ruling stands. Funny enough, in this situation, the government appeals it, and because it's appealing, the government is still right, and the ruling doesn't stand. And yeah, those owning a company are wealthy, and therefore they must be made poor. This is something that seems very true. Especially true if they are making more unemployment. Well, see, the thing is, on the job working thing, I agree that if you can go to work, you should go to work. And I also agree that the whole COVID thing is, if I were to call it a farce, that's too kind a word.
Yes, but I'm looking at it from a different point of view because I'm one of those people who, since lockdowns began, still had to go into work every day.
Yeah, but it's the governments that are the reason why people are afraid to go to work, and now they are at one point telling them you shouldn't go to work because danger, 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 and at the other point saying, well, but if you don't go to work, well, fuck you then. Because you have to, and if you don't, well, we're not going to pay for you anymore. You know, there are people who actually can't go to work. It's not even that they want to or don't want to, they simply cannot.
Well, isn't that covered under disability or some kind of... function of that thought.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, here's the last bit. This is interesting. Biden's new immigration policy is set to release violent criminals, bloody hell, I'm sorry, I'm going to do this again. Biden's new immigration policy is set to release violent criminal illegals, including some convicted of child sex crimes, into the country. So, how is that going to work?
Well, now that Ghislaine Maxwell's been put out of action, he wants a new pedo island set up somehow.
But, I mean, in all fairness, we talked about how the people bringing in underage illegal kids, well, yeah, it's not a good thing, but let's help them. And then releasing criminals, let's help them. Who's going to protect the American citizen, the law-abiding citizen?
So the ICE officials were claiming that Biden's administration was effectively dismantling ICE and forcing agents not to enforce the border.
Yeah. I don't get this. I simply don't get this. But yeah, America, be grateful for the president you've voted for, because this is the world you now get to live in. And yes, not one more deportations. Not one more deportation. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why not, to be honest. But and yes, these are well printed. I mean, let's be honest. The whole left agenda when it comes to politics, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the Green New Deal, when it comes to the environment, it's a well-funded effort. These are not grassroots movements of people standing up for the oppressed. No. These things are big money trying to convince you to support them in situations where they can have more money. This is what Klaus Schwab meant when he said, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." It might not make a lot of sense, but they didn't say we will own nothing and we will be happy. No, you will own nothing and you will be happy. And when they said in the USSR, citizens are happy, there aren't unhappy citizens in the USSR. There aren't any unhappy citizens in North Korea. Go and ask them. They will tell you that they are happy. Well, obviously, because if they say anything else, they will be shot. So, yeah. This is the Build Back Better candidate for America. How is the Build Back Better thing going in Ireland, by the way?
They just announced 9 more weeks of lockdown.
Right.
They announced it through a tabloid press instead of making a big announcement through mainstream media.
Well, maybe they had enough of mainstream media as well.
Oh no, the Irish government love mainstream media.
So
and the mainstream media love the Irish government back.
Doesn't make sense that they don't work together on this one then.
No, it's a tabloid that put it out. I put a video. Did you want to put in play the video I put in just before your? It's a 3-minute video about that I put in earlier today.
Did I see it? I think I saw it. Where is it? Where did I put it?
Irishman says what we're all thinking in viral video.
Yeah. Where are you? I've seen it, and I'm more than willing to share. Ah, there you are. Okay. Oh, stop. And then doing this. And this. And where are you, OBS? See, this is me trying to do well. Bloody hell, what did I do? There you go.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Is it going through?
There we go. Thank you. Okay. I've been told that if I want to not get demonetized. Anyway, I am using this. I'm showing you guys this. It's not my work. I will have a link to the original somewhere downstairs. But yeah, let's continue.
No, there's no audio on the.
What? There's no audio?
No. I'm listening to it while it's going on. Oh,
Well,
no, wait, it might be.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, let's try this then. Could you say something? Yeah, there you go. That's the problem. That doesn't make sense. So why the hell isn't it working in that? Aww. This is quite annoying. What if I close you down and open you up? So let's see if this works now.
It seems to have.
It's immediately going into overdrive. This is weird, but when it's on desktop audio, it's not working. I am very sorry, good people of the interwebs, but I have no idea what the fuck is going on with OBS. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm just going to leave the link and I'm not going to be able to show it to you now. I hope I can do it next time. Yeah, but the thing is, the video hasn't been muted, Richard. So there are two options. Either I can play it and you hear nothing, or I can play it and you hear a constant echo. So I have no idea why. And this isn't embedded. This is on YouTube itself. Now, I used to be able to show YouTube videos, but I need to figure out these OBS settings because I can't do that now, not while we're live. There's something really weird about it. And the worst part is, I checked if I could play videos during a live stream earlier today, and it allowed it, but not now. And I haven't changed anything inherently there. So yeah,
doesn't like you.
OBS doesn't like me. It's quite often. But yeah, I'm sorry, we're not going to watch this video then. Let me see if I can link it in the chat for the people if they want to see it in the chat. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah, it's a 3-minute long video. So.
It's a 3-minute long video. I would advise people to go watch it. Do you have anything else interesting to say today?
Me?
Yeah?
Oh, do I ever have anything interesting to say? Be sure to subscribe to my little channel.
Well, yeah, sure. subscribe to Ludicrous Leprechaun.
And Modwin.
Oh yeah, well, if you're not subscribed to this one already, I think everyone here has. Let's. I think so anyway. I think we did a good stream though. Anything else we want to say?
Well, I hope you all had a very nice Valentine's Day and a great Pancake Tuesday.
Pancake Tuesday?
Yeah, it was Pancake Tuesday.
Right, never heard of
that. Mardi Gras. It's the Tuesday before Lent, before Ash Wednesday.
Right, okay. Well, that's new information for me. Then again, I don't really care much about Valentine's Day either. Let's be honest.
Oh, you love pancakes, don't you?
Well, I love pancakes. Yeah. Where I come from, Wednesday is Pancake Day. But yeah, that's a weekly thing. So. Well, I think I'm going to call it. Unless, of course, you have something interesting to say other than pancakes.
Oh, is there anything more interesting than pancakes?
Good question, though. I'll not lie. Good question.
Let's see if they have. Oh, they have a pancake emoji.
A pancake emoji. Well, if I look at pancakes, all I can see are those American flapjacks, those thick bastards.
The stacks, yeah.
I'm Dutch. Our pancakes are thin.
You prefer the crepes?
Well, they're not crepes. Crepes are even thinner.
Or hybrid.
Yeah, maybe I can find one. Let me see if I can show you a photo.
That's from last Wednesday.
Yeah, see now this is a good stack of Dutch pancakes. Come here. Show up. And then I'll do it the simple way. So, bada bing, bada bang. Now, these are pancakes. This is a stack of pancakes. And normally you have a stack like this on your table and you take the top one and you put it on your plate and you put something on. It could be sugary, it could be hearty. And then you roll it up and you eat it. And then you take another pancake off the stack, repeat the whole process, and then you eat it. So these are pancakes.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Let's see if I can get. So this is how you roll them up. So you put something in there. So they rolled this one up empty. I mean, these are American. Well, no, they call them oatmeal pancakes, but these are American. Those thick ones. This one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not real pancakes, though, is it? And here you have pancake, for example, with bacon. Wow. That's so good. This is how you eat pancakes. Not this crap. What's this? This is not how you eat. These aren't even pancakes. I mean, you can't roll them up, can you?
It's more difficult to.
Sorry?
It's more difficult to.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not interesting.
But we've made Michael Keller hungry.
I'm hungry. Well, I had a lot of fries today, so I'm good. I'm good. And you know, the thing with pancakes is they're bloody easy to make. All you need are a few eggs, flour, and a bit of milk. Oh yeah, and you need something hot to put a pan over, but the stove will do.
And then put some butter on top of them.
Yeah. Nice pancakes. Well. Anyway. Good luck with the Build Back Better attitude in the world, good people. I just ate a ton of sushi. Yeah, there's something about fish. You know, you can combine fish with pancakes. That's really nice. Now, in the Netherlands, we don't do sushi a lot, but we love herring. Oh, great stuff. What do you put on your pancakes, Ludicrous?
Well, if it's just a sweet pancake, maple syrup, cream, butter, lemon juice. For the savory ones, maybe put some sausage in,
Yeah, sausage or
bacon,
bacon, cheese. Obviously, I'm Dutch. Come on, cheese
or
can go with anything.
maybe some egg,
Sorry?
maybe some egg, scrambled egg.
Yeah, why would you put scrambled egg in pancake? Half of the pancake is egg already. You could, though. I mean, you have fair is fair. You could. It's not something I would do, I have to admit. You know what's nice on a pancake too, by the way?
Which?
How do you call it? Ragout. So meat sauce.
Oh, ragu. Yeah, it's kind of like spaghetti sauce type tomato-y.
Yeah. Which is also really nice on pancakes. Especially if there's a decent amount of meat in there. Something better than pancakes in Discord.
Yes, it's got the waffles.
Waffles. Yeah. Waffles are nice. Waffles are nice. Maybe this is not safe for work. Oh, what's the
Waffly good.
text? I can't see the text. It's too small. The namesake, the Joe, and the plate. Ah, right. Okay. Well, I mean, waffles, especially Belgian sugar waffles. Oh, so nice. So nice. But let's not tease ourselves with too much food. I'd like to thank everyone that took the time out of their day to join us. And I especially like to thank Ludacris for joining me live.
No,
And
no problem.